إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد عباد الله اعلموا أن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. One thing that I think the brother is a little bit stingy with the sound. Put it up a little bit. Thank you. One thing that I cannot get accustomed to it. I'm having a very difficult time in Kenya is one of the most important principles of Islam. And that is timing. You guys, your time is Mubarak, mashallah, tabarakallah. I always used to hear African time. I have never realized how bad we are. When somebody says 8 o'clock, in African mind it means 10 o'clock, mashallah, tabarakallah. So that means by 8 o'clock he has to wake up, or she has to wake up. She has to put her hijab or jilbab. By 8 o'clock she's supposed to be here or he's supposed to be here. That's when we start moving and mobilizing ourselves from home. In the West, it's completely different. If someone says 8 o'clock, you got to be there by 7:45 or you are late. That's the latest you can be there. And it's very strange because the Prophet ﷺ emphasized of the importance of time. And that's why he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in one of the ahadith, he said, لا إيمان لمن لا أمانة له ولا دين لمن لا عهد له. This is very crucial. He said, if you have no trust, if the people cannot trust you, you have no iman. And if you're not good with time and keeping promises, you have no Islam. You could be Jehovah's Witness if you like. You could be Christian if you like. But the Prophet said that's not our character. That's why some of the munafiqeen, attributes of the munafiqeen, or the character of the munafiqeen, وَإِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ. When he promises, he breaks his promise. And when somebody says 8 o'clock, it means 8 o'clock. I just have to say this on behalf of the group. Now, for the new Muslims, I don't see too many new Muslim faces looking like me, new Muslim faces. Can you raise your hand if you are a new Muslim? Raise your hand. That's all of you new Muslims? That's good, mashallah. Now, I want to talk about 4 points. My time is very limited. I was given 30 minutes and I will stick to that 30 minutes, inshallah. First thing of Islam that I want to tell our brothers and sisters who came and joined us in this beautiful religion of Islam. First thing in Islam is knowledge. Ilm. And that's why the first ayah that was revealed was about learning, education. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. That was the first ayah, which is absolutely an indication of the importance of knowledge. So my brothers and sisters who came to the deen of Allah, you have to understand being ignorant is not part of our deen. لذلك Allah said in the Quran, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. فَاعْلَمْ, you must know. Even before you start practicing Islam, which is mandatory, even before you start learning about the etiquette of Islam, the sunnah of Islam, the nawafil of Islam, which is all under the umbrella of education or knowledge, you must know. فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Learn. You can't worship Allah if you don't know what Allah is, who Allah is, what Allah is capable of. Why did He created you? You cannot be a Muslim if you don't know that. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He chose people of knowledge over others. يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate those who have knowledge over the rest. And you may have beautiful thobes, you may have, Islamic jilbab, but if the knowledge is missing, then you have nothing but a piece of cloth on you. And that's why ilm, if you want to know how to fear Allah, how to respect the limits of Allah, how to be aware of your surrounding, how to be conscious of what you should do and what you should not do, then you must have ilm. And that's why Allah said, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. The one that fears Allah most, the one who really respects Allah most, are those who have ilm. If you have no ilm, you may fall into a mud, and you may just say, it's okay. You may just follow your culture over your religion. You may deal with people based on what society approves or disapproves. But when you have ilm, you will have khash, which means you will know your duties and you have the fear of Allah, and that consciousness in you will grow. So I urge my brothers and sisters who came to Islam, as well as the old Muslims, to adhere to the deen of Islam by learning. You see how important knowledge is? Knowledge. When you seek knowledge, when you take the path of knowledge, then Allah will make your path to paradise easy. من سلك طريقا يلتمس به علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. So the moment that you say, I want to be a student of knowledge, then Allah will say, make his way to Jannah easy. The moment that you say, I want to become a student of knowledge, the malaika, angels, they will lower their wings out of respect what you chose to do. Because this is how important, how ilm is in Islam. Angels who do not disobey Allah, do not eat or drink or fornicate or lie or sleep, when they see you that you're seeking knowledge, they lower their wings out of respect of your journey. So whether you're old Muslim or new Muslim, you have to do this. One nasiha for the new Muslims. On your journey, don't look at us. Don't take us as a role models. Don't take us because you're not following us. You're following Islam. Don't say Muslims are always late, and me being late is okay. Don't say Muslims are unorganized, therefore me being unorganized is fine because my older brothers and sisters in Islam, they're also unorganized. Don't do that. And you have to understand and realize, when you become a Muslim, if you were a student, then Islam expects you to be better and achieve A plus. If you are good, then Islam expects you to be excellent. You know, I had a teacher, I don't know if you read his book by the name Jamal Zaragoza. Have you ever read the book of that man? He's a white American. Have you read that book? I can see the level of your education, mashallah. I can see the level of ilm right here. This man, he had a friend, another white friend. And he always used to give him his da'wah. Why don't you become a Muslim? And he said, man, the way you live. And he's, by the way, we're talking about Americans. We're talking about white Europeans who are always on time, who always fulfill their promises, who always are courteous. One of them sees you throwing, you're literally throwing a can on the street. He will pick up that and report you to the police. They see you, signaling the wrong way, they will arrest you because they have the authority to become, citizens who have the authority to arrest. They respect the system so much that we would look like kids. But when he saw his friend, Zaragoza, going to a higher level because of Islam, that man said, Akhi, Islam is beautiful. Islam is gorgeous. It is so powerful. It inspires you, empowers you. But I can't. It's too hard for me. The same friend traveled to a Muslim country. And he comes back. And he says to Zaragoza, I became a Muslim. And he said, I've been calling you to Islam all that time. And now when you left and you went to a Muslim country, you became a Muslim? What changed you? He said, when I saw Muslims smoking shisha, when I saw Muslims littering on the street, when I saw Muslims not keeping their promises, when I saw Muslims not being clean, I said to myself, I can do better than this. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So when I say to new Muslims, don't follow us, because we're not the best role models. Except a chosen ones, I would say to you, follow Islam, because that's the thing that you chose. I don't want to take much time. The second thing that I would encourage you is to know, and this is also for the old Muslims, that you hear Allah brought you here, Allah chose you as a new Muslim, or Allah brought you here in the midst of non-Muslims for a purpose. See, Allah does not do things haphazardly. Allah plans everything to the detail. And that's why in Sahih Muslim, Allah decreed everything 50,000 years before the creation of the universe. Not yesterday, not based on your birthday, no. 50,000 years before the creation, Allah already decided everything. And that's why when Allah was creating Adam, what did he say to the angels? Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. He said, I am going to appoint successor on earth. That was before the creation of Adam. That was before. So my point here is this. When Allah brought you to this university, when Allah brought you here, it was not an accident. When you became a Muslim for the new Muslims, it was not an accident. It was all planned. And the plan of Allah is clear. And that is for you to become a da'i. It's for you to call people to Allah. Not to force them, because Islam taught us in the Quran. Allah taught us in the Quran, La ikraha fi din. You cannot force anyone. But Allah ordered us to present the beauty of Islam to the non-Muslims and to remove the misconceptions that they have about Islam, the misunderstanding that they have about Islam, and to show them the pure Islam. So when you came here, young men and women at this university, don't assume Allah brought you here for your purpose, for the purpose of your education only. See, these Muslims, this non-Muslim that you see, they are your gates and your tickets to Jannah. And do not expect or assume that they will go to hell or they will go somewhere else while you will cruise to Jannah while they were your classmates. Don't expect them that they will go somewhere else and you will go to Jannah while you were sitting right next to them. That's a beautiful story that first time I came to the city of Nairobi. This is one of the most moving thing that I ever witnessed, in a short, in person. I was in the city of Nairobi in a masjid called Masjid al-Rahmah. And the sisters asked me to give a special session only for the sisters. And when I went, I sat on a chair, had only a chair. And a sister, she was sitting right here, dressed with jilbab, pointing her feet towards me, coming so close to me. And she's taking a note, she's frowning, she's smiling, she has, different emotions, mixed emotions. And then when I finished my talk to the sister, she raised her hand. And she said, Sheikh, I want you to answer me one question. One question. I said, what is it, sister? She said, I became a Muslim. I'm a new Muslim. However, my neighbors, where I was born and raised, the kids I used to play with, they were Muslims. My school, my classmates, they were Muslims. My work, I have Muslim co-workers. But none of them ever came to me and told me anything about Islam. We played together. We lived next to each other. We worked together. We shopped together. We ate together. But none of them ever said anything about Islam. She said, I forgot the month. She said on Wednesday, and this lady became devoted Christian. She said on Wednesday, my church awarded me for being one of the best volunteer, donate, serves, and help the people in that church. Wednesday. But on Thursday, she said, I got onto into matatu. That's how you say matatu, right? The little crazy, buses, right? They are devil buses, mashallah. They know no rules, no regulation. They don't know how to signal. They don't know when to stop. They just cruise like little Tasmanian devils. She said, I got into one of those. And out of nowhere, this Somali kid, he stood in the front and he started preaching about Islam. This little, Somali kid with the, thobe, and he started talking about Islam. And by next stop, he got off. She said, I jumped after him. And she said, what the heck are you talking about? Isn't Jesus my Savior and my God? He said, no. She said, at that moment, I accepted Islam. So the question was, how come Muslims are so stingy with their deen? How come they're not willing to share the light of Islam with the rest? So my new Muslim brothers and sisters, share the beauty of this deen with the rest of the university. But do it the right way. Don't do it the wrong way. Do it with ilm. The third point, all of you who are here, the learners, students, if you correct your intention, I only have 10 more minutes. If you correct your intention, then whatever you do will become hasanat. Whether you're learning nursing or computer science or business administration or you're in engineering department or in whatever department, if your intention is, if you correct your intention and say, I'm learning so I can be self-sufficient, help my dependents, and help my Muslim community, and avoid asking people for help. If this is your intention, then you are mujahid fi sabilillah. You consider a mujahid, not a regular Muslim. The Sahaba of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they saw while they were sitting with the Messenger of Allah, they saw this fit, strong young man walking away. And they said, if he had only used that strength and that youthfulness for the jihad fi sabilillah, that would have been much better. And the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if he's going out to take care of himself, to earn his halal earning, then he is mujahid fi sabilillah. If he's going to take care of his parent or dependent, then he is a mujahid fi sabilillah. So imagine when you're learning ilm for the sake of Allah, to improve your livelihood and the lives of those who are around you, become mujahid fi sabilillah. Remember when Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam sent Mu'adh bin Jabal, Nabi Musa al-Ash'ari, to Yemen, and he said to them, يسر ولا تعسر وبشر ولا تنفر وتطاوع ولا تختلف. He said, give people glad tidings and don't push them away. And then those two Sahabi radiyallahu anhum, they used to come and each one of them went different direction of Yemen, and they used to come and then review their work. What did you do? How many Quran did you read per day? How many salah or qiyam al-layl did you recite at night? How did you pray? How many shahada did you give? Periodically, they will come together and they will review their work, not to show off, but to encourage one another. So when Mu'adh says, I read this amount of Quran, juz of Quran last night, Abu Musa says, I read the same amount. When he says, I give this number of shahada, he says, I give this number of shahada. He said, this is what I did, this is what I did, until they became equal. And then Mu'adh said, Wallahi inni la ahtasibu nawmati kama ahtasibu qawmati. Look at this. He said, Wallahi, even my sleep, when I'm going to rest, I go with the intention that, Ya Allah, give me the ability and the strength. Allow me to rest so I can do da'wah for your sake better. So he said, even my sleep is ibadah for me. So if sleep is ibadah, then your education, if you do it right, with the right intention, is considered to be ibadah. And you are in the state of jihad. Jihad doesn't mean, jihad is sword. No, don't run away with that. In the jihad of struggle, in a sense, this is how you want to live your life. Last thing that I want to mention to the new Muslims and old Muslims. I dealt and I lived and I've been through universities. I was in a university as a student. I used to teach at University of Calgary, Islam 101. I was the chaplain. I've been chaplains in many locations. And I see a lot of things that Muslim young men and women easily can slide into. And that is haram things. Like zina. Like dealing with the opposite gender in an appropriate way, which in Islam is unacceptable. And a lot of you may assume zina is just, the actual act itself. But no. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, كتب لابن آدم حظه من الزنا فهو مدرك ذلك لا محالة منه. He said, every one of you may commit a zina. قال العين تزني وزناها النظر. He said, your eyes may commit a zina, and the zina of the eyes is to look. It's to look. You should astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. There was a brother, I was in a funny story. He was in the city of Toronto. And we were coming out of a restaurant, and my car was here. Actually, my friend's car was here, and I was on the passenger side, but he was late because he was paying for the lunch. I think so. He was late, but there was a car next to us, and there was a brother who was looking this way, but he's so focused, and he's looking, and I, glance, and then I, another look, and I said, what is he looking at? And there was a Muslim sister with tight hijab, full makeup, everything outside, tabarakallah, sadaqah, mashallah. She was giving a lot of sadaqah, tabarakallah. Everything is outside. And he was there, and he's like has a laser vision. He's concentrated, And I looked, and then the sister passed, and then he said, astaghfirullah, ma hishaw has. He said, astaghfirullah, she has no shame. I said, you have no shame, akhi. You've been enjoying the view all day long. And just because you disappear, So shaitan would tell you, it's just a simple look. That's what the Prophet said. Al-aynu tazni, wa zinaha an-nadhar, wal-udhnu tazni. And the ear commits zina, wa zinaha as-sam'. And the zina of the ear is hearing things. And you're talking to this girl, you're sweet talking her all night long, where your parents think that you're doing schooling, mashallah, you're doing extracurriculum here, mashallah, tabarakallah, That is called zina al-udhn. قال واليد تزني. And the hands commit zina. وزناها البطش. Touching, giving a salam, touching a female that is not halal for you is haram. It's haram. Can't say, I have to give a salam, no, I have to shake it. No, it's haram. So we call وزناها البطش. قال والرجل, and he said, and your feet commit zina, and the zina of the feet is walking towards that. قال والفرج يصدق ذلك أو يكذب, and he said your private part confirms that or denies it. So one of the evil of the universities, even though it's a beautiful institutions, is that a lot of young men and women, they think this is okay to have, halal, girlfriend. MashaAllah, I'm just walking her to her campus. I'm just helping her with her math. Well, she's doing better than you, ya akhi, mashallah, tabarakallah. Well, you're helping her. She's doing better than you. All of this is a games of shaitan. And young ladies, sisters, you have to understand, with your corruption, the world is corrupt. And with your righteousness, the world is righteous. And that's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, there's no fitna for men that are left behind greater than women. It is you who control that area. It is women who control the whole society. And if you ever want to corrupt society, just corrupt the women. All you need to do, if you want to destroy a society, just corrupt the girls. Because when she's a girl, she's flirting, she's dating this, she's talking to this guy, she's nothing but a bombshell. She is corruption in that sense. When she becomes a mother, she's incapable of raising a child that is righteous. It is another corruption. But if she's right, men would be like this, and the children, the offspring, will be something that we can all be proud of. In Sahih Muslim, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said the first trial of Bani Israel was in their women. The first test was in their women. See, if a girl wants to do haram, she will find almost 90% of the men will yield to that. But if a man wants to do haram, no girl will yield to it unless she wants it. Which means you can be the source of righteousness and you can be also the source of corruption. So my nasiha to you is be careful. Be careful how you deal with this issue. University are the years of trial. And inshallah, if you are righteous and you learn your deen and you do what Islam is teaching us, then bi'idhnillah, you can do better. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. I took my time, a minute over my time, and I ask you for forgiveness for that. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.